Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF 44 coming at you another video. Man, doing another therapy session because I just saw what's going on in Maui, Hawaii. Prayers out to everybody who was affected by the fires out there. Uh, 53 confirmed uh, gone, and it's one of those situations where you look at the devastation and it just, I'm just unbelievably saddened for everybody who's going through anything like that, or obviously them going through that specifically, but I just think of everything that anyone goes through in a situation like that when everything's lost like that. Neighborhood, the whole town just leveled, completely leveled. Uh, this news just came out. I don't know when the most of the devastation happened. I guess overnight, but I'm just finding out about it now. So to me, I don't know nothing about nothing, man. But my gut tells me that that was done to that city. They call it a wildfire. I don't know how wild that is. That's all I'm saying. That look like an attack to me. Feels like an attack to me. So I don't know, man. I don't know. That is exactly where my head went. I just want to go on here and send some good energy to everybody affected by that. Or if for some reason you're rebuilding because you've went through something like that in your life. I just want to send good energy toward you, man. So yeah, that's where my head goes. I didn't really have much in my mind in regards to a therapy session. I've been after I got home, I ate my wings, of course, after making content for I think the basketball content I made, and then ate the wings, and it was good. But I'd forgotten that I didn't have any ketchup at the house, and I didn't bring any ketchup from the Wingstop. So this is the first time I had the fries without ketchup, and that I guess was probably for the better, given the fact that I'm trying to eat my healthiest. I guess ain't no sense in adding extra to it. So the wings were excellent, though. Great batch, and I won't be buying that again for a very long time. I'm pretty certain of that. But yeah, man, I just wanted to follow up. Of course, react to the horrible images there, and also touch base with everybody. And that's pretty much that. My content has probably been lacking in regards to topics and things of that nature because basketball's out, as we always say. Uh, but I want to get back to doing these therapy sessions because they do give me a whole lot of peace in regards to just getting my mind right. And with everything that's been going on in my life over the last 6 months, I can't tell you how good this outlet has really been for myself, and hopefully also for everybody who watches what it is that I've left here. And I was thinking about that today. If for some reason the Lord is done with me, I'm not pleased with the amount of work that I've done, because I know that there's a lot to be done with good energy. But I also understand that I've done some good things too. I've left enough here to say that I've accomplished some things, even though it's only been a short amount of time over the last, say, 5 years with this channel and the various different things I've been working on. I can say there's enough here for me to say, okay, I left a mark to some degree, and if what I've done is found, there'll be plenty here to enjoy, and that's pretty much it. So, as I look back on 409 therapy sessions or something like that, I just feel like the damage is done, so to speak. I think I've done good. I can't wait to do more, but the damage is done. So that's what I'm thankful for. The Lord has put in my heart that I can find peace no matter what the outcome will be with my life going forward. I think that I've done enough good to ultimately be okay with that, I guess. So still motivated to do much more, and will continue to. And gotta make sure that I keep myself awake for this content. But yeah, man, this doesn't have to be a long video. This really doesn't. I want to pray for the people of Maui, sending light your way, as I always try to put myself in a position to just empathize with people who've gone through things that are much worse than what it is I'm going through or have gone through or whatever. And this is no exception. And Just sending the best of energy to everybody who's out there, man, and everybody who's going through anything for that matter. There's a lot of stuff going on. I guess I got another topic. If you guys will bear with me, this is not a very pleasant one, but I don't know where this is at. I did not check, but it's an awful situation where a lady and husband lost their baby because the doctors malpractice of the circumstance, it seems. And I say allegedly because obviously this is news unfolding, but the baby, in the process of getting a C-section done, the doctor allegedly did not handle the baby properly. The baby passed away in a very horrible fashion, and they tried to cover it up. The hospital did, and somehow the information got out that they had done it, and in the way that they had done it, that's the process of a C-section. The baby's head was removed, and so this was a black doctor and black mother, black child. Everybody was black in the situation. Why is that relevant? Well, because in the event that it was either or, it would be a big story about race. It would be a big story about how black babies need to be handled by black doctors, and we need to care for our own. And the story right now is just brings us back to a space where we have to look at race and not allow it to be a copy and paste type of thing, to where just because a person is of our race, we automatically trust them. It's unfortunately a lesson that I learned, and my mother and myself learned early in life, because of the trauma that I was, enduring, being left with someone who happened to be black, who we trusted, and she was ultimately who ended up traumatizing my mind and doing the worst of things. And so it's like, you just can't do that. Race doesn't tell the story. We would love to just be able to say, okay, we're in this society as black people, and however we got here, now we just got to find our way through it, and we got to stick together. And in sticking together, we want to be able to trust one another and trust the environment, trust the village, so to speak. But there are always instances where doing so will be the worst decision, and that's why racism, that's why all of these different isms and all these different things just do not necessarily find themselves being the best application of what works. It just does not in certain cases. And so if we can all just get out of the way and just allow for people to do what it is that they're great at, regardless of who they are or what it is that their skin color is, I think we'll find the best results in circumstances. It's just like anything else. You may not be able to trust a person per se, but you can trust them to be themselves. And if they're doing what it is that they're put on earth to do, if they do what comes naturally to them, to the best of their ability, then they're going to get it done. The art form and with what it is that they're passionate about, and it being something that they're good at, will make it so that you will have the best result based on them taking pride in what it is that they do from within their own circumstances, the way they view it, rather. So it's like, they're going to give you the best of service because they should be there doing it. And I'm not saying this doctor shouldn't be there. I didn't read up on her credentials. I don't know nothing about nothing. I'm just simply saying, here we have the young couple going to a black doctor hoping that they would get the best of care. And I mean, this is probably about the worst story I ever heard, like, just period. And so that's really what it comes down to, and just the details of what they were trying to do to cover it up. It's just so bad, and you just know that the lawsuit is one thing, but you have to investigate this. Obviously, if the authorities around there, they're gonna have to investigate to find out if there was anything done purposefully and all of that. Because a situation like this is just so graphic and horrific, you just have to wonder what the heck is going on there. So, yeah, prayers out to their family, and it it's one of those things that just make you kind of scared to do anything in this world. If you listen to stories like that all the time and you don't hear nothing else, you just be afraid to do anything. You know what I mean? It will back you into a corner where fear will make you not want to leave the house. And nobody knows that better than me, right? But I think it's something that you have to guard against. You have to take these stories in, understood that those are incidences that took place, but also to not be so terrified next time when it's time for you to have a baby that you think of these stories, anything like that. We have to find a way to move past the trauma of what it is that's being presented to us, and the realities of the stories that are going on in this world that happen to cross our path, however they do. This is not the conversation I'm gonna have. Why did they put this in my face? People behind the curtain. This is not where I'm going with that this time. I'm just more so saying, whether we hear these stories in passing or not, you can't develop complexes about these type of things, because that's the evil of the circumstance. It's exactly what it's meant to do, to spread fear, to instill a sense of hesitancy within those who hear the story. See, that's how my brain kind of works as it pertains to different things. It's not even because I speak of spiritual warfare and various different things, that it doesn't have to be a person's intentions that ultimately destroys us. It can be the enemy itself, the overall, as people say, natural selection, the idea, the thing that just takes away from Earth, the thing that takes away from life. We can't necessarily explain it other than just to say it's the antagonist that brings us away from us, from our having a full life. You know what I mean? Things that just ultimately rob us of our lives. For me, the best way that I can wrap my head around it is to look at it as an evil entity that wants to ultimately just have me work my energy against myself. Things that are going to coerce me into looking bad, things that are going to coerce people that I'm trying to help into hurting themselves by way of things that they think they want, all that type of stuff. And so in this position of what it is that I'm looking at, it's like the very essence of what's trying to kill us is not a person's intentions, but more so just energy that is in place for us to either succumb to in fear or overcome in applied faith or applied determination through it, or what have you. And so it would keep us from otherwise doing things that would ultimately allow us the freedom to just live without fear. In this case, it would be to just go to the doctor and deliver your baby without worrying about such a thing happening in your own life. And so that's what this is what phobias are manifested from people not talking these things through after having conversations about traumatic or desensitized conversations, events, or what have you. However you have to go through it or perceive it or hear about it. Once you take it in, you got to make a decision to either harbor it as a fear or let it go. And I was fortunate enough to be raised by a mother who had those conversations with me a lot of the time as I was taking in a lot of different things, especially as it pertains to stuff we'd watch on TV and stuff like that. Some of this is not real, but you can harbor the feelings from what you see, and they'll become real to you. And so that's what you want to guard against. In this case, unfortunately, this is reality. And what comes to mind is just trying to tell you guys, this is what I heard, but don't be afraid. It becomes a situation where it's like, I can't tell you not to be fearful of such an event, but what I can tell you is that the odds of such an event happening to you, the odds will make it so that you probably will not experience that. And so that you have those odds should be what you otherwise lean into, rather than having heard of that experience and of course thinking that that's going to be something that you would have to face. And so, since this is a therapy session, I feel like all of that, breaking that entire process down, made sense to me, to not only expose how I allow myself to receive this stuff and still be able to move, but how I would hope to if I fail to, given that I am the type of person that stays in the house and tends to harbor and overthink things like this. So I think all in all, we want to talk things out. and be as positive as possible. And I think that's what the story has been about for today, absorbing things that don't necessarily seem positive, but still trying to make sure that we're viewing it from a perspective that has faith attached to it. We don't have to be in denial about things not being great, or things being scary, or things being not so aligned with what it is that we would choose. But to also say, and there is also a response to that, and that response is faith. That response is my belief in God, that belief in self, that belief in whatever it is that I'm trying to accomplish, regardless of what circumstances are moving around me. I'm still going to work in the direction that's going to make me better. I'm still going to work in the direction that's going to allow me to process the things that I'm taking in ways that allow for me to discard of what is not necessary to hold in. And so that's what we're discussing here. Yeah, man, just got to, because we're in a world where we take on so much negativity through our phones, I believe, and through our devices, that it's almost important to slow down and acknowledge how to process so much to process that is there to process. And I think that's what I've been kind of dealing with as of late. I've been on overload with some of my intake, just some of the stuff that's been coming through the phone. It's been a little too much. I've actually felt overwhelmed, and I'm not one of those people who tend to have trouble with that. Not necessarily. I don't necessarily feel overwhelmed if a lot of information is thrown at me at once, or if I have to multitask with various different things that have just come naturally to me. If I have to swap between the Lakers and then go to my music app and then mess around with the art app, like all of this, it's not hard for me to do that and absorb all of the different stuff social media has to throw at me. That was an easy transition for me for some reason, from not having that in my life to now. For whatever reason, it doesn't feel like an overload a good 99% of the time until this last couple of weeks. I'd say about a week ago, maybe a good week ago, when I found myself looking through my phone and I just started feeling anxiety. I'm like, man, this is not ending. Like, I can't even explain the feeling that I got, but it just felt like a void that just never ends. It's like, yo, I'm scrolling, and every 3 minutes, not even every 3 minutes, every 3 seconds, I'm seeing a naked woman or something, anything that just looks like it just doesn't end. And for me, it's like, yo, I've never felt like that before. I've never felt overwhelmed. I think we're getting to a point where maybe that's just where we are. I think a lot of people may be feeling that same thing right now. It's just like, yo, we've been dealing with this internet thing, and it's been dragging out for a while, and we've been taking a lot in for, like, I say, what, has it been 7 or 8 years straight on this run where social media has been the forefront of our minds? I just think we're reaching a point where it feels like we're running. It's like, damn. It's almost like in Forrest Gump when they just started running. He said, you know what, I just want to turn around. And you just said, I'm done jogging. I don't want to run anymore. That's kind of how I feel with social media and some of the stuff that's going on. You just get to a point where you've been running. It's like, this has no end. I'm cool. I just kind of want to turn around and go back home. And I don't even know what that means in regards to this, but I can tell you, I do feel like I've just gotten to a point where, all right, man, I'm out here, and this social media void full of information just feels like I'm standing in the middle of an endless matrix, and everywhere I look is either confusion or temptation or something, anything that makes me, anything other than what makes me better, anything other than what makes me closer to God. And it just feels like it's not ending, I guess is what I'm saying. There's no way to take a breath from this. You know what I mean? It's like, I guess that's what I'm saying to you. It's like, I need a breath from this. I need to put my phone down. Ever since my friend Kay said the same thing, I've been feeling that way. And I'm pretty sure I told you guys this as well throughout these couple last 10 or 12 therapy sessions. It's like, you just want to put your phone down. It's like the algorithm is starting to eat away at you. You know, all the different things. So, yeah, without continuing to ramble in that regard, that's just where I'm at. I just want to turn around. Not to say that I want the internet to turn off, but if there was a way to do all that I need to do in this phone without subjecting myself to a lot of what it is that I'm ultimately going to find myself falling into while trying to do everything I need to do, that would be the way to go. Maybe I need to set up timers on my apps or something. I don't know. There has to be a way to regulate this. And so, yeah, man, I think it may be necessary. I think it may be necessary for anybody, whoever, if you get to this point where I'm at, maybe you need to find a way to put your phone down. Maybe for a day, maybe for a little longer, but I think that's what I need. But I don't think I can do that with everything I got going on. So it just is what it is. I think that's why I feel like I'm out here and I'm just like, okay, social media, where is the substance? I guess is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that's gonna make me better. Once you start realizing that everything is pointed at you to make you think a certain way, and a good 90% of it is meant to have you thinking backwards, or have you accepting things that you don't agree with, or trying to coerce you into buying stuff or whatever. Once you realize that most of this stuff isn't for the betterment of you, then you start feeling like I'm feeling right now. I think it's much easier when you still have some inkling that some of this stuff is worth a damn. Once you start realizing even the stuff you like the most in this social media thing is still just catered to ultimately trying to drag you into a space that isn't your best, then you know you need to make some changes so that what you're attracted to doesn't necessarily drag you down. So I guess that's where I'm at as well. I need to make some changes. So that's what it is, man. We all get to a point where we just need to grow up, man. I was thinking about it right now. One of my buddies has sent me a joke, and usually I would laugh at the joke, but I think just where my mind is, I just think I've outgrown that type of joke finally at this point. I didn't even have it in me to respond the way I always would. But from an organic space, it's like my actual self doesn't want to respond. I'm not in a bad mood or none of that. I'm just changing, you know what I mean? And so I guess that's where I'm at. Not outgrowing my friend necessarily, but just the conversation and the type of joke I just didn't take to it this time. For the first time in my entire life, I think. But, just that's kind of just speaks to where I'm at. I'm not gonna say I'm tired. I'm just weary, as I've used that word before. I think that's the word. But still motivated, Unlike some of the other times when I use that word, I'm not bombarded with sadness or nothing like that these days. I'm still saying the positive things. I'm still, being active and all the good stuff. But it's just the stuff outside of me. It's not just me anymore struggling. It's like what I see, I just don't like. So that's been the story, man. It's always been the story in my life, but I think the difference is now I have a voice and I can use what it is that I see and speak however I need to speak about or against or what have you. So that's what I do. And hopefully I can suggest better or at least give somebody something else to think about. So that's what I hope to do here. Yeah, man, that is the thought there. I don't know if there's anything else that'll pop up in my head before we leave here, but I did want to touch on all those topics. I encourage everybody to go check out, of course, everything I've already done today, all the different content that I've left for you guys on this channel, and follow at BDF44 on DeviantArt, at BDF44 on Apple Music, at BDF44 on Pixiv. And yeah, that's where we're at, man. Just trying to plug what I do, take this thing to another level, hopefully get my life together in this very, very, very impossible but inspiring circumstance that I'm going through right now, which is riddled with so much love that the Lord has provided me through the blessings that He gives me. So I hope that I can take that faith that I have and that good energy that He's given me, and I try to apply it to you guys in whatever way that I can. I hope that you feel that somehow. So that's what I got to say. My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching.